Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me to another thrilling episode of This Week in Real Estate. I think it's going to be a shorter one this week, as kind of this time between Thanksgiving and Christmas, historically, maybe not the last couple years, but historically is a little bit slower. Gives us some time to kind of clean up stuff from throughout the year, not only physically, but paperwork and getting the numbers and everything kind of completed for 2022, looking into 2023. So we'll get right to it. So the market report, not a ton of movement, but a little bit. So in Delaware County, we have 131 active listings with 95 pending, and Randolph County is just about the same, about 34 active with 27 pending. And so I actually, on Facebook, you have Facebook memories, and I've looked back when they pop up of kind of what the market, and I can go back and see the video on the computer as well, but in viewing some of those, like specifically to Randolph County, a couple years ago we were sub 20 in the active listings, and pendings, they go in and out, but so yeah, we're a little bit better, if you will, with the supply in Randolph County, but still that supply is not keeping up with demand, even with demand kind of being knocked down because of the rates. But like for instance, the other day, I think I mentioned it, but it still kind of rings true, in Parker Farmland, Selma-ish area, something under $200,000, there's really only a handful. So yes, again, rates have knocked kind of that fervor down, if you will, but without adequate supply, it's still difficult to get somebody into a home that they want to purchase. So on to the good, the bad, and the ugly. So a couple good things. We had a closing on an Anderson property that went really well. I represented the buyer, and that particular situation, it was a long time. I'm pretty sure that was the original owners, and so like they built it in the 70s into the 80s. I really can't remember right about there, but a lot of family memories, and they had 5 children, 4 that attended closing, 1 that didn't because they were out of state. But it was a very good, just overall transaction. Everybody got together there at the closing, and it went really well. So that was great. And then I worked with a new agent that I hadn't worked with before, not because she was new or anything. She's been in it a while, but that went really well too. So it was good working with her. I know it's been a little time. I had the chance to go over to Chocolate Mousse. We went over there for Lydia's birthday kind of lunch, and so that was fantastic. They had a couple slight little menu changes, and but they kept my favorite sandwich, which is the Big Pig. And if you don't know what it is, just go there and order it and be surprised. It's great. We also had the kids' Youth Symphony Orchestra concert. It was last weekend. I forget which particular day, but always good. And that was Solomon's first one, so he was in the little group, and then Abram, Lydia in the same group. But it was always a good time. So that was fun. And then, and I mentioned it last week as well, we had the Secret Families of Randolph County last weekend on Saturday. So super long day, very tired, but it was great. It was great. So some of the numbers, I think they served around 120 families this year in Randolph County, and from start to finish, from buying presents in the morning, getting them to the church, wrapping, tree deliveries, and then gift delivery teams, and then some of us, what I consider auxiliary team, if you will, we help set things up at the church and feed people, things like that. There's about 600 volunteers, and so that was great. And then they're also checking the numbers. They had mentioned to date that I think it's very close. Like I said, they had to go back through the numbers, but Secret Families in Randolph County, since its inception, has raised over $1 million. And so everybody's like, oh, $1 million, you look at sport contracts and that's nothing, but Randolph County Christmas charity, $1 million in a matter of 5 or 6 years is amazing. So they're like I said, they're looking into those numbers, and they'll actually let us know, but it's really close. So the bad, and I've spoke on this many times before, going through a transaction that will hopefully be closing tomorrow. I think we got everything lined up, but we're dealing with an out-of-area lender and an out-of-area title company, and it has kind of been awful. So the title company, I think I've emailed, there's probably 4 different people within the email chain, and they have emails going back and forth, and then they tell us something, and then I have to cross-check it with everybody, and they're in conversation with the lender, and they're not on the same page. And like I said, they're in different time zones, and like case in point, the other day we had the lender said, oh, the title company says that we need a survey. Title company never says that we need a survey. Sometimes lenders do, but the lender said the title company requested one. And the funny thing is, we're in a platted neighborhood even, and so something got crossed. I have no idea, but literally took more than half of the day to get everybody back on the same page of why we don't need a survey for this particular home. And it was just frustrating, because we're 2 days out from closing, and all of a sudden they say we need something, and believe me, we just ordered a survey on another property and they were 12 weeks out. And so that messes up everything. Everybody's blood pressure goes up, and we're dealing with Christmas and scheduling, and somebody's looking to move on. You know, they're selling to move on, and that plan would have been disrupted, obviously. And so it's just been kind of an awful week, kind of a bad week, not awful, but kind of a bad week when it came to that specific transaction, and trying our darndest to get everybody on the same page. So please, if at all possible, stay local with everything. And I promise you, it's not 100% of the time everything's going to work out just spotless, but from this experience and others in the past, you know, yeah, please stay local as best you can. And then ugly, nothing ugly, so that's good. Coming up, so we have that closing tomorrow. I believe it's happening, so that's great. And then closing on the Red Key home on Monday. And then also this weekend, I'll throw up the flyer. Bam. It's kind of it's at the church in Parker. Look at the flyer because I forget the name of it. I'm sorry. But they're doing The Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe, and Rachel and Lydia are involved with that. And so that's this weekend, Friday and Saturday performances. Check that out. And then also in the Christmas theme, obviously Christmas is next weekend. Oh no. Hopefully everybody can get ready for that. But so we have an extended family Christmas coming up this weekend, and then our office Christmas party as well. So it's good to see everybody in one spot, eat, drink, and being merry. So I'm looking forward to that. So that was it. That was it for the week, and looking forward to next week. Like I said, Christmas is over the weekend, on next weekend. So if I do a video, it's going to be really short because there's not much going on. But yeah, any questions or comments about anything, please leave those below, and I will definitely get back to you. And so really appreciate you checking these out for another year. It's the second year doing it, and I think they're fun. Hopefully they're informative for you guys. But so yeah, thank you so much for checking them out. And so until next time, I will see you.